This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. You know when you're really stressed or not feeling so great about your life or about yourself? Talking to someone who understands can really help. But who is that person? How do you find them? Where do you even start? Talkspace. Talkspace makes it easy to get the support you need. With Talkspace, you can go online, answer a few questions about your preferences, and be matched with a therapist. And because you'll meet your therapist online, you don't have to take time off work or arrange childcare. You'll meet on your schedule, wherever you feel most at ease. If you're depressed, stressed, struggling with a relationship, or if you want some counseling for you and your partner, or just need a little extra one-on-one support, Talkspace is here for you. Plus, Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance? No problem. Now get $80 off of your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
I love Thursdays. Such great information. Bets have been awesome lately as we head out here to the Progressive Guest Line. Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian joins the program now on his weekly appearance. He is with GuillotineLeagues.com. He'll have another anytime touchdown score coming up in about 15 minutes. He's hit 2 in a row. Let's see if we can keep it going this week. Charch, good to see you. Let's begin with this. Chiefs are humming now, man. Watch out. Here they come. Rashee Rice now back from suspension. And I know books are slowly rolling out some of his props. I only see a couple of them right now posting Rice. 56.5 yards. I don't see receptions yet. What do you think we're going to get on Sunday?
I think we're going to get a lot of Rashee Rice. It comes right in, and I don't think he's going to miss a step here. You know, it's rare that a 6-game suspension is a good thing, and I'm not suggesting it is, especially given how he got it. But what it did do is it gave Rice another month and a half to get right from last year's season-ending knee injury. By all accounts, he is at 100%, has been for a long time. He will hit the ground running, literally. And as a reminder, last we saw Rashee Rice, weeks 1 through 3 of last year, he was the highest scoring fantasy wide receiver. He was awesome, catching all these passes and across the middle of the field as well. Packers secondary is just middle of the pack. That's not a big threat here. Here's, I think, your best angle. No matter how you feel about Rice and his usage, here's where I think this thing can really crystallize for both fantasy and bettors. Last week, during those 3 games, when Rice was healthy and going berserk, Travis Kelce did not score. He had a 34-yard game, a 0-yard game, and a 30-yard game. It's because Rashee Rice he's a middle-of-the-field pass catcher right where Travis Kelce normally does his work. I think you can bank on Travis Kelce seeing a diminished workload. Last couple of weeks, it's been pretty high. Early in the season, it was very light. I think Travis Kelce goes back to a diminished workload for a lot of reasons, including age and other things, and Rice just eating his lunch. And that's where I think you can really find some angles here is against Kelce from fantasy standpoint. If you got Kelce, I'd trade him now while you can. He's already been an inconsistent fantasy producer. And if we're going to see this year what we saw last year from Rashee Rice, his production comes right out of Travis Kelce.
By the way, side note here, I'm seeing Kelce under 3.5 catches plus 125 and 40.5 yards for this week.
Good. Great information.
I like the yardage under especially.
Yep. Great information from coaches this week in quotes. Andy Reid, we're going to get Rice involved right away. Big workload. How about what Cohen said, that we're going to get Hunter involved early and often? He's got to be a bigger part of the offense.
Well, yeah, he does. I mean, I think it goes without saying, and I love Liam Cohen, but I dislike how he has used Travis Hunter. I mean, in April, Travis Hunter was the most talked about draft pick of that draft class, and maybe for a long time, playing 2 ways and everything else. Jacksonville moves up to pick 2 to draft Travis Hunter. And what have they done? Well, they've totally mismanaged him to this point. He hasn't topped 64 yards. He hasn't scored a touchdown. From a fantasy standpoint, he's fantasy wide receiver 57. When you think of Travis Hunter, the Colorado version, you think of those big downfield catches, him weaving through traffic, making guys miss, breaking tackles downfield. We haven't got any of that from Travis Hunter. Get this. He is in the bottom 10th percentile in depth of target. We're heading into week 7. Travis Hunter has 2 catches deeper than 9 yards. That's it. He hasn't even been able to get playing time, pry playing time away from Dyami Brown and Parker Washington. What are we doing here? This is the second pick of the draft. Liam Cohen does need to use him more, but not just more. You got to start using him downfield, because where Hunter is so effective is 15, 20 yards downfield in the middle of the defense, because he's fearless. He will run through the middle. He doesn't mind all the traffic and guys, he catches the ball and there's 3 guys on him, doesn't care. Travis Hunter is special that way. Liam Cohen's got to figure that part out. Maybe he does it against the Rams. Kendall Bourne running a lot of these middle routes ate up the Rams a couple of Thursdays ago. Maybe it's going to be like that for Hunter, but at this point, that's all speculation. Maybe Liam Cohen's going to do those things. I just think this is what he needs to do. And I don't know that I'm ready to put my money on Liam Cohen actually making good on him saying he's going to get Hunter more involved early in this offense.
Interesting. Yeah, because the market, I think, is betting it like that does mean a lot here. His catches are 3.5 over, like minus 150. But his yards still they're between like 37.5 and 40.5.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you not game plan to get this guy at least that many yards? I mean, I completely agree with everything that you just said.
Yeah, baffling the usage here. And I think Liam Cohen, again, really good coach. And Dyami Brown doesn't stink. I don't know. It's just, but this is a special talent that you got to start unlocking for the Jaguars. Hopefully it starts here.
Yeah. You took him second in the draft. You're not going to have him guard, play the slot on defense with that draft pick.
I'm with you.
Okay, so this has been amazing the last couple of weeks. Rico Dowdle has been basically the best offensive player in the league now for 2 weeks running Chuba Hubbard, who they just gave an extension to, has missed those 2 games. What happens this week?
Right.
And what happens moving forward?
473 combined yards in 2 weeks. I did a quick search to see how many times since this database goes back to 1970, a player has had as many rushing yards and receiving yards in consecutive games as what Rico Dowdle has done in the last 2 weeks. And it's only 2 times. Walter Payton and Saquon Barkley are the only 2 guys since 1970 that have hit this rushing and receiving threshold that Rico Dowdle just hit. I mean, we didn't drop Rico. First of all, it's Rico Dowdle, right? And I happened to look before he got his start 2 weeks ago. I'm looking at his metrics just to see what Rico Dowdle had done to that point of the season. And he was terrible. He's basically the worst running back in the league metrically. And then you drop him into Carolina. This is not exactly like dropping Rico Dowdle into like the Buffalo offense. It falls into the Carolina offense and he suddenly goes crazy. He's a juggernaut. Nobody saw this coming. And I don't think it was something you could have seen. I mean, this never happens to a 5th-year running back. A 5th-year perpetual backup running back. Those guys never break out in year 5, but we're seeing Rico Dowdle do it here. So the question is, does it continue? Obviously, he's created a mandate to keep running with Rico Dowdle, but we know coaches are weirdly insistent about giving their veterans playing time. And they, as you mentioned, and I think this is not trivial, and I'm really impressed you mentioned it, Mitch, the contract extension they just gave him at the end of last year. Right? I mean, they still need to make good. They still need to make good on that. There's a lot of reason to keep Chuba Hubbard involved. Dowdle, I think, has earned first crack at this. Hubbard, especially if he's not 100% with the calf injury, has got probably a minor role here. But this could turn into a dreaded hot hand approach, which from a fantasy standpoint, we hate hot hand, right? You know how this thing's going to go. But at this point, Rico Dowdle's earned the right, I believe, through 2 games to be the starter here, especially if Hubbard's less than 100%. But he'll be in the mix.
Jacoby Myers has pretty good numbers with the Raiders. Bowers has been hurt, but he could be traded at the deadline. What happens here? What should we do with Myers if we own him?
First, it's weird when healthy players don't practice. That almost always means imminent departure here. So I think Myers, who asked for a trade, as you guys know,
that's right.
In August, he was looking to get traded, right? So he's a little bit older. I think 29 years old. Here's the thing about Jacoby Myers that people don't know. He's really good. He is a high effort guy who catches everything you throw at him. He is great after the catch. He's just languishing in Las Vegas. Nobody knows anything about this guy. He has a bunch of possible landing spots. Steelers make sense. Giants make sense. Patriots make sense. Buffalo would be awesome for Jacoby Myers. A lot of different spots where potentially Jacoby Myers could go. And if they trade him, Jacoby Myers, his value would go up in almost any of those landing spots. And those are all teams that think they're playoff relevant. The other thing that would happen that would be interesting, Trey Tucker's value would go way up. He'd turn into the clear number one receiver on a team without Brock Bowers, at least for a little while here. And Trey Tucker would get real interesting. So if you want to play, if you want to play the market on this and you think Jakobi Meyers might get moved, and there's a decent chance he would on a bad Las Vegas team, that's how you could capitalize in a couple of different ways.
Would you offer, if you own Travis Kelce and you're okay at tight end behind him, would you offer Kelce straight up for Meyers right now? Taking a shot here?
Yeah, I like that move. That's exactly right. I'm looking to move Kelce anyway. That's the kind of trade that you could absolutely make. And, And even if Meyers doesn't get traded, he's the best receiver on the Raiders. Yeah. That's always worth something.
Or would you offer Kelce for Tucker and something else, just in case? Then he gets traded. Then Tucker, like you said, he slides into that, going to have a bigger role with the Raiders.
Number one role. Yeah, like that angle too. Basically, I like moving Travis Kelce right now and getting out. And by the way, and we've mentioned this before on previous shows, but I'll mention it again. He's all the way down to 5 yards per catch. He's at his lowest per average catch of his career. Hard to fill a box score on 5-yard catches at a time for Travis Kelce, especially when he's not the same guy after the catch as he was in younger iterations of Travis Kelce.
Man, your numbers a couple of minutes ago on Rice, when he was in playing with Kelce last year, and Kelce basically just bottomed out and did nothing. He had one game last year with no yards.
Yeah, he had a 0 yard. He had a 0 yard game last year with Rashee Rice. Danger.
Yeah. I love the knowledge, man. We're going to continue here with Fantasy Football Hall of Famer Paul Charchian. Website is guillotineleagues.com. Right now, he's on the Progressive Guest Line. 2 weeks ago, he gave out the Niners tight end anytime touchdown plus 425. Last week, Jackson Dart plus 380. They both got there. Which player does he like tonight for an encore? Find out next here on VSiN.
Are you interested in effortlessly growing your Bitcoin portfolio? I sure am. The Bitcoin credit card by Gemini earns you Bitcoin back on every purchase. Use it like any credit card. Buy lunch, gas, or your weekly groceries, and you'll earn up to 4% back instantly in Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos straight to your account. All that with no annual fee. And right now, you can grab a $200 Bitcoin welcome bonus. It's the easiest way to start building your Bitcoin stack. Go to Gemini.com/card to learn more. Terms apply. See the link in the description for more information regarding rates and fees.
Always follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money. Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
This hour sponsored by Better. Better Picks, the daily fantasy sports app where your sports knowledge turns into real cash fast. Download Better or visit better.app now. Sign up today, get free money and no deposit necessary. Get Better now, BETR, Better app, BETR.
Here we go, Paulie. The Butcher. The Meat Man. Steve Wiss joins the program now. 16-6-3. Last 25 picks here on the program, and I don't care. Anytime that somebody comes on here and gives out Kazakhstan over Liechtenstein, guys, lay the 2.25 goals on the Asian handicap. You wake up early. It's 4-0. That's it. Ball game. Account looks better. And he's back on the program now. Hell of a call, my man.
Well, thank you, guys. I got quite a few messages about that result. Thankfully, everything went to plan, and Liechtenstein were as bad as we expected them to be. It's been a good bit of good form recently, so hopefully can keep it up now.
You're not going to have anything that obscure on today's program, so we'll begin in the Prim. This match is on Saturday. What do you think of this money line price on Chelsea? They're around $1.05 here to beat Forest.
I'll tell you what, I think of it really, really attractive, Mitch. Here at -105, I think they've got to be a bet to beat Nottingham Forest because, I mean, Chelsea themselves are probably the fourth best team in the Premier League, if we're being honest. And on their day, they can beat anyone, as they proved just before the international break. They beat Liverpool, which is a fantastic result. And this is a great matchup for them because Nottingham Forest, I mean, they're winless in 7 games in all competitions since the new manager, Ange Postecoglou, came in. And I mentioned before about the owner of Nottingham Forest. He's a real, what we call a basket case, and he's very unpredictable. And the rumours are that he's going to sack this manager as well very soon. So it's one of those where the fans actually don't like the new manager. The owner's not happy with the results. They're playing a Chelsea team who are definitely better than them. So, I mean, there's a little bit of a rule sometimes. Don't bet the early kickoff in the Premier League because random results can happen. This is the early kickoff. This is about 7:30 a.m. Eastern time, midday local. But I just think Chelsea are too strong. And I honestly expected them to be about -130 here. So sometimes don't overcomplicate it. Nottingham Forest are not in good form. Chelsea are much the better team. The manager's under pressure. Away win for me.
All right. Excellent. Now we're going to 10 in the morning Pacific, Eastern time, 7 Pacific with a couple totals. Let's start with Burnley and Leeds. Why under 2.5?
Yeah, this starts my run of under bets I'm giving out today. And I'm under 2.5 goals at -150 just stands out like a sore thumb. This was a matchup in the Championship last season in the second tier. And I watched both games. As you know, I'm a big Leeds fan. Yep. And there was only one goal in both games. Burnley won 1-0 at Leeds. And this match last season ended 0-0. And I think 0-0 is very, very possible again. I just look at both teams and I'm like, who is going to score goals for either side in a match which could be quite defensive and cagey? I think both teams need to be almost playing better opponents to enable them to have more time and space in behind the defence. Neither team's going to want to lose the game. So under 2.5 goals at -150 just stood out really here. I mean, Leeds have got a striker called Dominic Calvert-Lewin, and he gets a lot of big chances, but he misses a lot of big chances. I don't think any striker in the last 3 years in the Premier League has underachieved his goal tally compared to his expected goals tally than him, which basically means he's just missing too many opportunities. So I'd have no confidence that either team can score from open play. If there's a goal, it probably comes from a corner or a set piece or a free kick. That could happen. And I think whoever did, if there is one goal, it probably will end 1-0. So very likely to be a low-scoring, turgid affair. Burnley versus Leeds, under 2.5 goals at -150.
Okay. How about Brighton and Newcastle? Same thing here, also with the break and maybe some cold weather, under 2.5 as well.
Yeah, again, under 2.5 goals, -105. Very, very generous odds because Newcastle are only playing one way on the road this season. And it's really, really defensive. You look at the amount of 0-0 draws that Newcastle have had in road fixtures for this season. It's far too many to be a coincidence now. And I think against any decent teams, and Brighton are a decent team, the Newcastle manager, Eddie Howe, is very happy to set up in a defensive, rigid formation and sort of be okay with a draw. But really what he's hoping to do is keep a clean sheet and nick a goal to win 1-0. And Brighton are not a very good team against the teams that are in a low block and defensive. They struggle to break them down. They need more space in behind. So Brighton are often really good against, say, the big teams like your Man Cities and Spurs and Liverpools of this world. But against a defensive outfit at home, I'm not always convinced by Brighton. So they might want to play more attack-minded than Newcastle, but Newcastle are not going to let them. They're going to suck them into this low-scoring shootout. And like I said, the 3 Newcastle away games this season, Aston Villa 0, Newcastle 0, Leeds 0, Newcastle 0, Bournemouth 0, Newcastle 0.
Oh.
Is this one going to be 0-0 as well? I certainly think under 2.5 goals at -105 is a very good bet.
Okay, excellent. The Meat Man's our guest because we win pod on the Progressive Guest Line. Follow the money, Paulie and Mitch Veasan, the Sports Betting Network. Monday, another total, West Ham and Brentford.
Yeah, and the reason I'm betting on under 2.5 goals here is the manager factor, because West Ham recently appointed Nuno Espirito Santo as their manager. He's a completely different style to the previous boss. He's defensive, disciplined and well organised. And the first 2 matches in charge, a 1-1 draw at Everton, and they only lost 2-0 at Arsenal away, which is a pretty good result, really. That against a really top side. Fair play to only concede two goals. So he's going to be targeting now during this international break. All these teams have had 2 weeks off. He's going to try and win the match 1-0, basically, not concede a goal against Brentford. And I think it's going to be a turgid, well, not turgid, but quite a tight, cautious battle, quite a tactical battle. We've got a Brentford team who they specialise in set pieces and long throws and corners, and they take forever taking some of these moments. A lot of time's going to be taken out of the game here with that, and possibly some fouls as well. It is 2 teams from London against each other. It's not a huge rivalry, but all these matches with teams down from the capital city can potentially get a bit spicy. So Yeah, I think it's one of those matches which the 0-0 detector again is on alert. But if anyone's going to win it, then it is probably going to be a 1-0 victory. And I would lean towards West Ham, actually. I think first home match for the new manager, the crowd might get behind him. And a key stat, by the way, this manager was at Forest last season. We were on Forest unders a lot of matches last season. They had the most under 2.5 goals home matches than anyone else in the Premier League. So the manager's got a history of these type of games. Minus 105 is too big for under 2.5 goals in this game.
All right, great breakdown. Let's go to League One. You've been on this club several times with the overs, but then you got off it because they changed managers, but now a side with Luton Town against Mansfield. League One.
I'm going to back Luton Town here. And they've been like a soap opera, haven't they? I've been telling you about them the last year and two. They have now changed their manager, and they've brought in a 33-year-old head coach. It's his first job, his first head coach job. Jack Wilshere, former Arsenal player, really good technical player in his time. And there's suddenly a really good buzz around Luton Town. And I said before at the start of the season, this is the best squad in League One. I've got a ticket on them to win League One, and I still think there's a chance of that happening. I might actually go in a bit deeper on Luton to be promoted now. You can get about plus 140 on them just to be promoted. I think that's quite a good bet because this new manager is going to get the most out of this talented group of players. And he can't have asked for a better home match to start with, really. Mansfield here are doing the mid-table, but they've only played 2 teams in the top 10 of Mansfield. So most of their results have been against sides in the lower reaches of the standings. Now, Luton are not actually top 10 right at the moment, but they're going to finish top 6, definitely for me. And the quality gap is too much. So you could take Luton Town money line. That's about minus 167, I think. But I'm going to go on the minus 1 Asian handicap here, plus 108. Full push if they win by 1 goal exactly. But I think Jack Wilshere, the new manager, can get off to a stunning start. Wouldn't surprise me, if Luton Town won this match by quite a big margin.
Excellent. Meat Man, you're the best. Love the information. Love the analysis. Keep the hot streak going. Thanks for the time. Best of luck this weekend.
Thank you so much, guys. You take care, and I'll see you next week.
Back at you. There you go. Follow him on X, at Meatman Soccer, Nordic Football Podcast, Because We Win, on the Progressive Guest Line. National Football League. We'll get to the Thursday night game coming up in about 5 minutes. CeeDee Lamb told reporters today that he could have played against the Panthers last week, but the team wanted to give him extra time off so he could get healthy, completely healthy. And he said, quote, "I'm out there moving around, running around, being me, happy as can be." Dak Prescott added that he looks great. Yeah. He's ready to go. It's going to be fun. And they get a Commanders team now off that Monday night loss to the Bears a couple days ago.
Also curious timing. Pickens non-committal on his future with the Cowboys after he's played so well. And looks like Tampa's getting good news with Evans for the Monday night game.
And anything with Egbuka yet?
I haven't heard anything.
Neither have I.
Nope.
I saw the Evans stuff a little bit earlier today, so that's definitely good for the team. That Cowboys-Commanders total is up to 55. But it's a Cowboys game, so...
I know. It'd be the highest total between those teams since the 1980, I believe, Evan Abrams had. Think about that.
Wow.
Yep, that's your big boy. They're fun to watch. I don't get this. There's no conundrum. You go with Dowdle. I mean, Charch ran down with that list.
Oh, I would agree.
Come on.
I would agree.
Gotta be him.
There's also an update, by the way, in today's Major League Baseball game. This is a tweet from Kurt Hogg.
Who dat?
He covers the Brewers. Very good. Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel. You can expect Jacob Mizorowski to follow Aaron Ashby today.
Oh, it's not Quintana?
He said that's probably going to bump Quintana until tomorrow.
Oh, interesting.
There you go. Now I like it.
There you go.
Now I'm on board.
We got some juice here.
Yeah, I would say so.
104 in the shadows? Yeah. The VSiN Pro subscribers get exclusive access to all new AI player prop projections powered by OptAI, the trusted brand behind elite soccer analytics in the UK. Starting Tuesday for the NBA season, free preview of our new NBA player prop projections. Limited time to tip off the season. Free, baby. VSiN.com/props. VSiN.com/props.
I think Paulie has about a dozen bets on tonight's game. He'll tell you what they are next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll go heavy college football next half an hour here as we are live in downtown Las Vegas, Circa Resort and Casino. We head out to the Progressive Guest Line as professional sports bettor Brad Powers makes his return to the program. Good catching up today. Brad, how are you?
Doing well. Thanks for having me, guys. Long time no talk.
Yep. Back at you. You can follow Brad on X at BradPower7, website BradPowerSports.com. Let's begin with a big game tomorrow night. Louisville plays at Miami. Now, when it first opened up, 14 was available for a minute. It's been sitting at 13.5 pretty much all week long. Do you think the dog is worth a look in this spot, or would you wait till it gets maybe back to 14?
Yeah, I'm always going to say wait till it gets back to a key number. Jeff Brom's got a great history in the underdog role against, teams. And obviously Mario Cristobal's probably due for laying an egg. But I got to be honest with you. I bet Louisville in their last game. Wasn't overly impressed. I know, they outstatted Virginia in that game. Virginia had a couple of defensive scores. But I haven't been overly impressed with Louisville most of the season. I mean, the JMU game wasn't that impressive. They didn't cover against BG. The Pitt game just basically came down to turnovers. So I don't know if this Louisville team is as good as what they've had under Brahman's first couple of years. Miller Moss just isn't impressing me. And we'll see. Miami, it's up to Miami, whether or not they want to get margin. They had margin against Florida State, let up the gas pedal a little bit. Hell, go back to the opener when they're up 21-7 against Notre Dame and almost blew that game. So Cristobal is not my favorite coach to back as a double-digit favorite. So if it gets to 14 sometime tomorrow, I'll have a pizza bet on Louisville.
Very good schedule Friday. Was this you? Here at Circa, Nebraska opened 4, got to 9, now 7.
Well, it's not me because unfortunately I'm not there in the great state of Nevada. So that wasn't me. I was surprised it got out to 9.5. I took some Minnesota then, and we've seen some buyback. It's pretty much what we've seen in the market in a lot of games every single week this year. There's a bunch of groups playing numbers. 7 seems fair. I would actually still lean Minnesota, believe it or not, in this one. I'm not overly impressed with Nebraska. The Michigan loss is not aging well, in my opinion. It came down to defensive turnovers and special teams against Michigan State. And last week they had to rally against Maryland, and I'm not a big fan of Maryland. So and then you got the Matt Rule stuff. He's talking, it has to bring up the Penn State situation. Maybe that's a distraction. Maybe it isn't. I'll take Minnesota here plus 7.5.
All right. How about the late game on Friday night? North Carolina and all their problems heading out west to take on Cal. Look, I mean, before the Duke game, I would have said, give me Cal for everything, but they got absolutely blown apart in the second half at home to Duke. And now this number is here at Circa 10, but a bunch of spots are as low as 8.5.
Yeah.
8.5, I would be okay with laying it with Cal. I wasn't running to the window to lay 10, but we've seen enough of action on North Carolina. North Carolina is a very tough team to power rate. They looked somewhat functional against lesser teams, but against Power 4 competition, last I checked, Cal is one of them. They've been super non-competitive. The thing with Cal is they've been up and down depending on their true freshman quarterback, which is kind of what you'd expect. Belichick against a freshman quarterback, maybe he can, scheme something up coming off the bye, but I'm gonna keep this simple. From what I've seen so far, Cal minus 8.5 is worthy of a bet for me.
All right. You had a great tweet. It's the first time since 1948 Vandy's been favored against LSU. I think you're on the total here. What do you think?
I do lean under. How could you not watching any LSU game so far this year? The only game that's went over is the game against an FCS opponent, but their offense has been miserable. They can't run the football with consistency. And Nussmeier's been, a turnover waiting to happen. They had a couple of goal line turnovers last week. Defense is legit, though. A legit top 10 defense in the country. I think they match up all right with Vanderbilt. You look at last year's game was 24-17 final. So under for me. If it gets to 3, I really like LSU, believe it or not. I like this Vanderbilt team quite a bit. But, man, it's different being, chip on your shoulder in the underdog role than it is being a first-time favorite in any SEC game in 52 games. So a 3 appears, and I think it will appear on LSU. I'm in big on the Tigers.
All right, how about another team that's been dynamite to the under so far this year? It's Oklahoma, 6-0 to the under, only undefeated team to the under full year, along with James Madison, and their games are staying under by 11 points per game. Another low-scoring game last week against Texas. Now they're 5.5, low 40s here at South Carolina, and I know that you were down in the Gamecocks before the season started.
Yeah, big time down on the Gamecocks. Not much has changed there with the exception of this matchup because I'm more down on Oklahoma's offense with John Mateer completely compromised. Broken, hand on his throwing hand. So that compromises the passing game. Don't believe me? Go pop in the tape last week. 3 brutal interceptions against Texas. And then on top of that, they're afraid because of the injury. They're afraid to run John Mateer. So we have what went from being a top 5, top 10 quarterback in the country to maybe an average quarterback at best. So I'll take South Carolina plus 5.5, like that quite a bit. And let's get after Oklahoma's their perceived weakness as far as I'm concerned. Let's go Oklahoma team total under 23.5.
Not bad. Good look. Very weird what happened last week with Ole Miss. So I know the letdown spot, and you had the big win at home, but then you're a 33-point favorite and almost lose the game to Washington State, and then Georgia got out alive against Auburn. What do you think of Georgia more than a touchdown at home against Kiffin?
Yeah, well, first off, I mean, hindsight's always 20/20. We probably missed opportunity Washington State last week. I didn't bet the game side or total, but my typical Lane Kiffin, in my opinion, not a serious coach. That's why he'll never win the national championship. He just performance like that. I mean, it would have been one of the biggest upsets in college football history.
Yep.
33-point underdog. As far as this game goes, obviously, I'm not big on revenge and all that, but I mean, in this case, when Ole Miss beat Georgia 28-10 last year, Kirby's arguably one of his worst losses in his tenure there at Georgia. I think you'll get an A effort and then some out of Georgia. Will be enough to cover the spread. I'm not willing to jump in at the current. When it was under a touchdown, I did bet Georgia. What I can bet at current is the under. I just think there's a big misperception about Lane Kiffin. You think offense, you think overs, high scoring. Not reality. Last 27 games, the under is 18-9. So under for me, under 54.5.
All right, very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, professional sports bettor Brad Powers. He's on the Progressive guest line. A little bit of money the way it appears on Wisconsin actually this week, which I cannot believe. I mean, I can't believe Fickell also still has a job. How are they scoring points against Ohio State?
Oof, I wouldn't bet on them scoring more than 7, but I mean, I'd like to see a prop up for a shutout. If I can get a decent price on that, I wouldn't mind it. There's not much to say on Wisconsin. I mean, you're more familiar with it than I am. I mean, made a very bad coordinator hire. Kudos for him for putting together the staff at Cincinnati that he assembled, but it's obvious the staff is what propped up Luke Fickell at Cincinnati. The Marcus Freemans, the Mike Denbrocks, and others of the world should be fired. Probably, the question is, whenever you got a big favorite, you got motivation for margin. Is Ohio State going to go out and want to embarrass Wisconsin? Probably not. And this Ohio State offense leaves a lot to be desired. I know they put up some points last week, but they had 3 short touchdown drives off of turnovers against Illinois. If they get that against Wisconsin, yeah, sure, they can easily cover this, but I didn't get to the window side or total here. I could only look towards Ohio State, though.
Yeah, look at this, by the way. The Wisconsin first half team total is 3.5, under -172 at FanDuel, and the game team total is 7.5.
Yeah.
I can't watch.
I would bet
Brad.
under 7.5 team total.
No,
Yep.
It's disgusting.
Yep. How about A&M at Arkansas?
Boy, the line tells you that Arkansas sneaky here. They were certainly sneaky last week against Tennessee. Despite, like it's been the case all year, turnovers, they were able to easily cover that game. I'm not, you get that 1-game interim bump. Maybe the crowd's excited for a little bit. I am liking what I'm seeing from Texas A&M. I mean, that second, I went against A&M last week. I mean, after they were down 14-7 to Florida, they dominated that game. So I thought that was as impressive as performances they've had all year. And they really crushed Mississippi State in the second half. So I think if you attack Arkansas, maybe first half makes more sense. But as the game ease into it, I'm more on the Texas A&M side here, laying the points.
All right. Who's the next coach at Penn State?
It's a good question. Matt Rule, I think, deserves to be the favorite. He's not the guy I would hire. But, keep an eye on, like, Drinkwitz from Missouri. That would be a sneaky hire. They got to hit a home run. They got to make a big splash. I don't know if there's a lot of candidates out there that are going to be, rubber stamp. I don't like James Franklin, but, rubber stamp. Yep, this guy's going to be definitely better than James Franklin, going to get Penn State to the mountaintop. I don't know how many candidates are out there. I would go young. I'd stay on the East Coast, not going to move the needle too much, but I like Bob Chesney and James Madison.
Okay. Because Cignetti today re-signed like an hour and a half ago with Indiana. I think they're going to pay him more than $11 million per year, from what I saw.
$11.6 million, I think a $93 million contract. Keep in mind, he's 64, and it runs through 2033.
No, I didn't see the total that it was 93 million. Well, the guy, I mean, think about this. In your lifetime, that ranks what, top 3 coaching job probably ever?
Yep, it does. Yeah. As far as, first season and a half.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Think sports, start getting paid for it. Better Picks, the daily fantasy sports app. Sign up today, get free money, no deposit needed. When you do deposit, 50% deposit match up to $200. Download it now in the App or Google Play Store. Better.app, promo code VSiN, BETR, Better.app.
Money on Arizona State as quarterback Sam Levitt has been practicing this week. Does Brad agree with the big line move? Wreck 'em.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
So with 1 out, runners on first and second, and basically you got to have a game for the Brewers. They started Andy Ashby, and then their manager, the Brewers manager, who's going to win Manager of the Year probably again, said, Ashby, get out of the game right now. We're going to the kid. And he just struck out Edman. What a spot for Mizorowski to come in and face. So, but that was a terrible swing, by the way, by Edman, but great job by Miz to get out of that. And so now there are 2 outs here in the first, and the Dodgers lead the Brewers by a score of 1-0. We'll keep you abreast of that game, but right now we head out to the Progressive Guest Line. More on the Thursday night tilt between the Bengals hosting the Steelers as Jay Morrison joins the program now, Bengals beat writer for BengalsTalk.com, on X @ByJayMorrison. It's good to talk to you again today. Jay, thanks for the time. How are you?
Oh, doing great. Looking forward to this game tonight.
Same here. We think it's sneaky good. And what do you make of the point spread, by the way? Because I want nothing to do with laying this many points with the Steelers.
No, it's crazy. I don't know where that comes from other than the Bengals haven't scored a touchdown in the first half in 4 straight games, but it did look like they found something with Flacco last week. The Steelers have been historically bad on Thursday nights. The AFC North road teams struggle on these Thursday short weeks, and even in primetime, any primetime, the AFC North home teams just seem to dominate these primetime games. So it is a very surprising line to me.
Yes, that's why I like the Bengals as well. What you mentioned, they look good in the second half against Green Bay, and also Flacco has raved about these wide receivers and how it looked like in practice the past week and getting on the same page. Is that what you're hearing as well, about how much he thinks to just throw it up to Chase and Higgins and let him make some plays?
Yeah, I mean, the whole offense is just getting used to it, getting the calls from Zach Taylor from the sideline, just that whole integration process. They didn't want to blame the unfamiliarity on the first half last week. I mean, like I said, they hadn't scored a touchdown 4 straight weeks in the first half. Last week was particularly bad. They could not move the ball at all. They found something right before halftime, but I do think that's it. You've got a Jamar Chase, you've got a T. Higgins, you have an older secondary than Steelers. I do think he's going to have to lean on them a lot. They found a little something in the run game last week too, but I don't know if it's enough they can lean on. They would like to be able to lean on it, but this is going to be a Jamar and T game for sure.
Are you expecting a big game out of Noah Fant?
Well, a bigger than normal. So Mike Gesicki, their number 1 tight end, is out for a while. He's on IR with a pec injury. And then Tanner Hudson, who caught a touchdown, Joe Flacco's first Bengals touchdown last week, got concussed in that game, and he's out. So Noah Fant is their number 1 pass-catching tight end. I do think that if the Steelers play a lot of zone, which teams tend to do against the Bengals because of Jamar and T, that he could eat that up in the middle of the field and maybe not get a lot of explosive yards, but he could get a lot of targets.
Yes.
So I brought this up earlier. Paulie and I are both betting him tonight. We have like catches over, we have yards over, anytime touchdowns as well, Jay, at like plus 450. Is there any thought here that they could use him basically being the only tight end along with Drew Sample here, but because their pass block win rate is so low and the Steelers are the Steelers still on defense, that they're going to use him to help block like guys like TJ Watt on the edge?
I mean, maybe, but that's not really his forte. He's
right.
a serviceable blocker, but if they're going to be chipping on the edge, it's going to be Sample. He is a good blocking tight end. That's basically all he offers us at tight end. Very limited as a receiver. Mm-hmm. So maybe it looks like that, where they're have Fant over there, like it looks like he's going to chip and he releases and gets a quick little hitter from Flacco, something like that. But they are going to have to slow down that pass rush because this offensive line is not good. Pittsburgh's defensive line is good, and as everyone knows, Flacco does not move that well.
Are they down on Yoshi-Vash with what happened last week?
No, I don't think so. The week before last week, he had a career high. He had career high in catches and yards, and it looked like he was really coming on. And then really unfortunate game last week with the 3 drops. If it was a trend, I could see them maybe turn into a little more Mitch Tinsley, who was the star of the preseason, kind of a surprise addition to the 53-man roster. They love everything about that guy. But I don't think one bad game is going to put Yoshi on the bench. But if he has a drop tonight, they will not hesitate to put Tinsley in there.
Okay, no hesitation. It's Follow the Money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Our guest, Jay Morrison, he's live at the stadium tonight covering the Bengals and the Steelers. On the flip side, it's also, not going exactly well for the Bengals on defense. Opposing teams are getting pretty much whatever they want so far, but the Steelers aren't really that big of a threat to me. I don't know how they're 4-1, but they do this every single year. What concerns you the most about the Steelers' offense heading into this game?
I think it's DK Metcalf. The Bengals' best DBs, DJ Turner, is leading the league in PBUs this year. He's playing really well, but he's too small to match up on DK. The guy that's played him really well in the past is Cam Taylor-Britt, and he's been benched, I think, at least 4 times since this time last year. It's just been a in and out process. They were expecting him to be a guy that was really going to ascend last year, and it just hasn't happened. And he struggled again last week. He had a pass interference penalty. He had a holding penalty in the end zone. So he's their best bet. He's the most physical corner to match up against DK, but I would not be surprised to see him get benched tonight because of the way he's played recently. So that's going to be a hard matchup for whoever they put on DK because he's so big and he's so physical, and one of those things where one catch, one shook tackle, and then he could take it to the house.
Is this a game where it's going to be tight ends for both teams? If we think Fant's going to go off, the Bengals have been really bad at guarding opposing tight ends, and now, like, the Steelers have both Darnell Washington and Jonnu Smith that they can throw out there.
Yeah, it could be. Last year when the Steelers came in here, it was a lot of quick game. It was a lot of Russell Wilson was just getting the ball out to the tight ends, to the running backs. Didn't really do anything down the field, and they still scored 44 points. I wouldn't be surprised to see them go back to that sort of game plan. Just get it out to the tight ends, get it out to the backs out of the backfield. I don't know if you're going to see a huge game from the Pittsburgh tight ends, but you're right. The Bengals, that is an area where they've struggled, and they benched their veteran linebacker, Logan Wilson, this week. They're going to be starting 2 rookie linebackers. That's a tough task. They started him last week, the 4th-round pick, Barrett Carter. The other linebacker, the 2nd-round pick, Demetrius Knight, has been starting all year, but Barrett Carter struggled last week, and they're sticking with him this week, and that is another reason to think maybe the tight ends could make some hay tonight.
Jay, have you seen the updated division odds here in the AFC North? I mean, the respect for the Ravens, I get it. Lamar's coming back, but they're 1-5. They were like around even money not that long ago, even though they're behind the Steelers by this many games.
Yeah, it's really surprising. I think it is respect for Lamar. I think it's also some disbelief in Pittsburgh. We see this. You guys mentioned it before. Pittsburgh kind of starts fast, and Tomlin's one of those old school physical coaches that kind of beats them up in practice throughout the year, and they just seem to wilt in December and in the playoffs. And so it's crazy to think a 1-5 team can be still a legitimate contender for this division, but I still think this division's wide open.
You're a good man. You think Arby's is underrated, and you're a big concert guy. What's the last concert you saw?
So a couple weeks ago, I went to a Papa Roach concert. Great time, great band. A lot of energy. We go to a lot of different concerts. My wife and I probably go about 20 a year. So
wow,
yeah.
Who would you pay to come out here to Las Vegas and watch at the Sphere?
We love the Foo Fighters. We've seen them a bunch. We've traveled to see them. I think they could handle the Sphere. We've probably seen Shinedown the most, but I think the Sphere might swallow them up a little bit, although they are starting to play some stadium tours. But those would probably be my 2 picks.
Okay. Well, Metallica might be here next year, so if that trips your trigger, let us know. We'll go together.
That is the biggest hole on my concert resume. I somehow have never seen them. My wife's not a huge fan. I just haven't bought a ticket to go solo. I do need to see them before they wrap it up.
Oh, that's an absolute must. No question. Jay, thanks for the time. We appreciate it. Enjoy the game tonight.
All right. Thanks, guys.
There you
Great
go.
job.
Jay Morrison on X, @ByJayMorrison, BeatWriter, You're blown away by that, huh?
That's a big upset. I didn't see that one coming.
Big concert guy, never been to Metallica. Ooh. But he admits
the
that's...
wife, the wife can't get there. It's a tough one.
Are you okay? Like you said, though, it's always tricky. He just hasn't plunged to buy a ticket to go on his own. Have you ever been to a concert on your own? That's a weird move.
I don't think I have. Movie, yes.
So have I.
Concert on my... Ooh.
I don't think I've ever been to a show by myself.
No.
Do you know? I know
I've been to
people.
a lot of concerts. I have not. No.
How about this? I know people who will not eat like lunch on their own. That one blew me away.
That's surprising.
Like 20-year-olds. No, sorry, I can't do that. I can't go down and sit somewhere by myself and eat lunch. Like I did that all my entire life until I got married. That was never a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah. Brewers got a run here against Glasnow.
Another triple.
Yeah. What'd that pay?
Yeah.
2 in the same game. So now it's 1 apiece, top of the second. And this is the bottom of the order doing damage here for the Brewers, obviously.
It was an incredible job by Miz to get out of it. I mean, it could have got away from him right then and there. He came in and struck out both guys. It was enormous.
Well, this is a big at-bat because it's the 9-hitter right now for the Brewers. Ortiz at the plate. And if Glasnow can't get him out, then we're going to go back to the very top. Now, he's got great numbers again in his career against a lot of the key guys in this Brewers lineup like we talked about, but could spell some trouble here for him.
A stupid move. It was a misplay by the left fielder. Just keep the ball in front of you. Got cute, dove, missed it, triple.
Up next, we'll run down all of our bets for tonight with our in-pocket plays. This is Follow the Money on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.